Hello guys, welcome to my Pygame tutorial for absolute beginners. In this video, I'm going to go over how to set up the window, how to put a rectangle on the screen, and how to move that rectangle with your keyboard. Let's get right into it. First we want to import Pygame, so let's do that. Import Pygame, and next we want to initialize it with pygame.init. Which basically just initializes all the modules that come with Pygame. And next we want to name our game and also make the screen. So I'm going to make the screen first. I'm going to name it win for window, and to make the screen width and height you have to do pygame.display.set_mode, and you have to have 2 parentheses, remember that, or else it won't work. And you want to do the width and height. I'm going to put the width as 600 and the height as also 600. You can change these to anything you want. It doesn't really matter. And now I want to set the name for a game, so I'm going to name it. To do that, we have to do pygame.display.set_caption, and I'm going to name it my first game. Now we should make our main game loop so the screen actually stays on the screen, or else it'll just close automatically after you run it. So I'm going to put it as running equals to true, and while running is equal to, that's basically what it means. While running equals to true. You can do that, you can do this, but I just prefer to do this. It's just easier I guess. I don't need tech that much. And I'm just gonna put pass for now. And if you save this and run it, you can see that we can't actually close the game. So, if you're on Linux, to close the game now, you have to press Control-C in the command prompt. And now we're gonna code the close button in, okay? So to do that, we have to get all the events. So for event, and pygame.event.get. That basically gets all the events. And now you want to say if the event type is basically the quit button. If event type, yeah, I forgot to put an if. Alright, so we want to say running is equal to false, and then we want to actually shut down the whole thing, because you just say running is false. Some things could be running if you have a big game, so it's always a good practice to put pygame.quit at the end. So now if you save this and you run it, the quit button should be working. Yeah, as you can see, the quit button worked. And now we can get on to making our screen a different color, because black is pretty boring. And here I'm gonna cut this part out, guys. Okay, please cut this part out. Alright, to set the color of our screen, because black's a pretty boring color, I want to set it something like white or red. You can set it anything. So to do that, you have to do win.fill, and then you have to put win.fill, and then you have to put 2 parentheses again. And this is RGB, okay? So I'm gonna, for white, it'll be 255, because it's RGB. It goes from 0 to 255. And if all these three are 255, it's white. And if all of them are 0, it's black. And if one is 255, it's red. It's so on. It's kind of hard to explain, but this is red, green, and blue. And now if we save our game, oh, I just closed it. If we save our game and run it, you can see it doesn't actually change the color, because we have to actually update the screen. So to do that, we'll do pygame.display.update. There you go. And this basically updates everything we just did here, okay? So now if we run our game, you can see it's a white screen now. Epic. Now we can get on to putting a rectangle on the screen. Now we can get on to drawing the rectangle. To do that, you have to do pygame.draw.rect, which tells us to draw a rect, but it doesn't know where to draw the rect. Now this is the confusing part. Everything in Pygame is a surface, and even the window is a surface. And all you need to know is what we want to draw in on right now is a window. So the surface we want to draw on is a window, which we define right here as a win. And we want to have it. I want to put the color of the rectangle as red, which is this. That's the RGB code for red. I'm pretty sure there's like, you can go on websites to find like to change colors to RGB codes. But yeah, that's what I'm putting it for now. It's just an easy thing to write. And now we have to do the X, Y, width, and height. For the X and Y, I'm putting it as 300, which is basically at the center of the screen. And for the width and height, I'm making it 32 pixels long and 32 pixels tall. Now if we save this and run it, it should draw the rectangle on the screen. There you go, you can see the rectangle on the screen. Now if you try pressing any keys on the keyboard, you see you can't really move the rectangle. You have to code that now. So let's go code the input, the keybinds basically. That's what it is. Now we can get on to basically making key lines. So if I press the up arrow on the keyboard, the rectangle moves up. To do that, we actually have to set the X and Y variables so we can change them. So X is equal to 300 and Y is also equal to 300. And now we can put those variables in here so we can change them for later. And now we can actually start programming the keybinds. So to do that, you have to do this. Key is equal to Pygame key.get underscore pressed. Which basically listens out for if a key is pressed on your keyboard. Now I want to say if the key is the up arrow, which in Pygame it's called K underscore up. They'll decrease the Y by 1. See that part I really don't get, because if you move up you increase the Y in a normal coordinate system, but in Pygame you decrease the Y when you move up, and vice versa for down. So if you do this, use Pygame.k down, you do this, and Y plus equals to 1. I still don't get why it does that, but I guess it's just how it's coded. And now we want to code the left and right arrow keys in. So this is Pygame.k underscore left, which is X minus equals to 1. And this one makes sense. I don't know why the other one is like different, but this one is normal. Because in the normal coordinate system, if you moved left, it would decrease the X, and if you moved right, it would increase the X. So I really don't know why. And now I want to program the right arrow. Again, key underscore right. Oh, got that wrong. Key underscore right. X plus equals to 1. Now if we save and run it, we should, yeah, as you can see, we can move a rectangle. And now here comes the really hard part. It's not that hard actually, but there's no border, so your rectangle can just go off the screen. And coding the border is a bit tricky, but it's not that tricky. So let's get on to doing that. Now we can get on to coding the border, so our rectangle can't go off the screen. And this is actually pretty easy, but it's very confusing if you get it wrong. So now I want to say if the Y value is greater than 0, you can move up. If it's not greater than 0, which is all the way at the top of the screen, you can't move up anymore. And it's opposite for the bottom, which is if Y is greater than, sorry, if Y is less than 600 minus 32. 600 is the screen height, and the 32 is, sorry, 600 is like the screen height also, but it's all the way at the bottom. All the way at the bottom of the screen is 600. That's the Y value for the bottom of the screen. And this is the width of the rectangle, which we want to subtract, or it could clip out of the screen. And now we want to say for the X, it's the same thing as the Y. Just you gotta change the variables a bit. And X is less than 600 minus 32. This part is pretty important, because if you don't have it, you will actually the border won't be correct. You can still go up the screen. So now if I run it, you can see that the the border works, and I'm still pressing the keys down and I can't move off the screen. So yeah, it's pretty cool, right? I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe with notifications and like the video. Thanks. Till the next tutorial.